Hey guys, I'm John Setzler. Welcome back to Atlanta Grill Company. I cooked a brisket last week, a 12.8 pounder, and I cut about 3 pounds of fat off of a $4 a pound brisket. So I don't want to throw $12 worth of fat away, so I'm going to show you how to make beef tallow from your brisket trimmings. So let's get started. In order to get started on this beef tallow, I'm going to take a stock pot and I'm going to put about 1/4 of a cup of water in there, and then I'm going to turn the heat on and let that water come up to a simmer. While that water is coming up to a simmer, I want to show you the beef tallow. This is just what I have trimmed off of that one brisket. And when I do this, I typically like to save the trimmings from 2 or 3 briskets where I've got a good bit of it, and when I do this I just vacuum seal it, or you can actually put this in a Ziploc bag, and I just like to keep it in the freezer. This one hasn't been frozen yet because I just cooked the brisket the other day, so I'm going to cut that bag open and we're going to have that ready to go here as this water comes up to a simmer. And I don't really need for that water to really come up to a boil. I just want it hot. And then I'm going to dump my fat into there. And for the first 30 minutes or so, I'm going to put the lid on. And what we're doing here is we're just steaming that fat enough over medium-low heat to get it started rendering. All right. Now that that's been steaming sort of in there for about 30 minutes, you might be able to see some of the fat has actually started to render down. Not a lot of it. This takes a while, so you just want to break that apart. I'm going to take the lid off now, and we're going to leave the lid off because that little bit of water that I put in there to help get this process started is going to evaporate out as we go, and we'll be left with nothing but the fat behind. It will evaporate all the water out. So this takes hours. This might take 6 or maybe even 7 hours to finish. So we just got to let it go. We'll come back and have a look at it in a couple hours. And just in case I forgot to mention this, you're going to let this go over really low heat. I've got my oven burner basically turned down to about a 3 on a scale of low to high, from a 0 to a 10. We're about an hour in here, and I'm starting to get a pretty good bit of rendered fat. There's still some of that water behind here, but like I said, it's going to boil off or steam off. But now I'm at a point, I think, where I'm going to go ahead and put the lid back on that, which will help speed up this process. So I have strained this off with some fine mesh strainers. You can use cheesecloth if you want, into a mason jar, and I'm just going to put the lid on that mason jar loosely, and I'm going to leave this sitting out on the counter overnight because that's going to solidify and it's going to turn white. So we'll let that do its thing overnight, and we'll be back to have a look. Here we are a couple hours later. This hasn't completely solidified yet, but it's going to. And then you can you've got something here with a texture that's similar to Crisco, and you'll just use this as a frying fat or a sauté fat, or if you wanted to like coat potato wedges in it before you roast them. It's beautiful for that. So guys, don't throw that fat away when you trim your next brisket. Give this a shot and let me know what you think. Until next time, this is John Setzler with Atlanta Grill Company.